Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Fire me up for this one Saturday afternoon. Vanderbilt heading on the road, playing Alabama, and I am stunned. And I remind you, it's a Monday afternoon. Like the national media has barely started talking about this football game. I am stunned with the amount of people that are talking about this one being a trap game for Alabama. Look, last year, 12 months ago, it was the definition of a trap game, right? Alabama's coming off a monster win against Georgia. They're going on the road to Vanderbilt, who at this time last year was a 2-2 football team that had lost to Georgia State earlier in the year. That was a definition of a trap game, especially going on the road. This one in 2025, if you're Alabama, there's no excuse for not being ready to play this football game because you look at Vanderbilt and say, number one, you lost to this football team last year, so you know Alabama's going to be dialed in. Number two, like this is a legitimate top 20 team in the country. This is one of the 20 best teams in all of college football. I feel very comfortable saying that at this point. One of, if not the best offenses that you see in the country. It's not a trap game. This is a top 20 matchup between two of the best teams in this conference, two of the best teams in the country. Now, when it gets to the matchups that we're going to see play out, I don't think it's all that complicated. Vanderbilt does some things really, really well on offense. We have some question marks about this Alabama defense that we got to talk about. Hey, Alabama does some really good things on offense, especially what we saw Saturday night on the road against Georgia. Can Vanderbilt slow down this offense? The matchup in this game, I don't think is all that super complicated. We're going to get into the big storylines before we do. And as always, to the Alabama fans, to the Vanderbilt fans, hey, let it fly in the comment section. This one's going to be super fun. Would love to hear how both fan bases are feeling about this one sitting here Monday afternoon. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. There's been a ton of support for these preview prediction episodes, so we appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I want to start with this. Go back to last year. What was the real storyline of that football game? Vanderbilt was able to slow this game down. They were able to limit the amount of times this Alabama team had the ball on offense. Go look at the time of possession last year. Vanderbilt possessed the football for 42 minutes in that football game to Alabama's 17. That's what Vanderbilt was going to want to do on the road here. Hey, we're going to try to stay on the field with our offense. We're going to try to dominate the time of possession. The biggest storyline in this football game, and something that nobody has been able to do against Vanderbilt up until this point, create negative plays. Like, why does Vanderbilt currently have the number one scoring offense in the country? They're averaging 50 points per game. I don't think many people are talking about this. This is the number one scoring offense that you see in all of college football. What makes them so special? To me, it's their ability to not only be multidimensional and explosive in a lot of different ways, but most importantly, they don't take negative plays. They are an elite football team on third downs, and it's not because they're great on third downs. It's because they're great on first and second down. They don't take negative plays. No, it's second and 6. It's third and 2. They're moving the chains, and then they'll sprinkle in some explosive plays that can change the game. The biggest storyline in this football game, can Alabama create some negative plays? Can you put this Vanderbilt offense in a second and 12, in a third and 8, where you're forcing Diego Pavia, you're forcing this Vanderbilt offense to operate in down and distances that they're not comfortable operating in? It's the biggest storyline. And quite frankly, if you're an Alabama fan that follows this program really damn closely, it's probably the biggest question mark you have for Alabama all 2025 long. This team has a lot of national championship aspects about this team. To me, the biggest question mark about Alabama is, hey, how dominant are they in the front seven? Can they take over a football game? This is a very, very good litmus test with Vanderbilt coming on the road here. Can your guys in the front seven, and you best believe they got NFL dudes. When you talk about Tim Keenan coming back, when you talk about a guy like LT Overton, they got the guys. We have to see this front seven take over football games better. And I'm looking at and say that this is the game where you need your front seven to show up and create some negative plays and force Vanderbilt into some of these down and distances where they're not comfortable operating from. Because guess what? You do that, all of a sudden this Vanderbilt offense that is converting on 60% of their third downs, they ain't going to convert on 60% of their third downs if you can create some negative plays. By far the biggest storyline in this football game. And I will say this, This Alabama defense, having seen this offense last year, that's a massive asset because you make no mistake about it. This Vanderbilt offense, one of the more fun offenses to watch, but one of the more multidimensional ones. And I will say that that's what makes this team different. That's what makes this team better than what it was last year's. One, they're better on defense, but more importantly, they got more answers. Now, they got three guys who have carried the football for over 200 yards on the ground this year. So they can do it a lot of different ways on the ground. They also have three pass catchers who have over 20 targets on the year, too. They got more answers than they did last year. And it obviously starts with Diego Pavia. But if you can make him a quarterback that's sitting in the pocket on a 3rd and 8, and he needs to process and consistently deliver the football down the field, you take that run play or that run pass option away, putting them in 3rd downs, you don't have the ability to run the football on 3rd and 8 like you do in 3rd and 2. That's the biggest storyline for this Alabama defense. Can Alabama correct the mistakes? Because you go back and watch that game last year. I think Vanderbilt won that game because of scheme. And I'm not saying Vanderbilt didn't deserve to win that game last year, but I'm saying that Alabama clearly did not prepare the right way for that Vanderbilt offense. This year, you feel like, especially having seen it last year, you feel like Alabama is going to be a little bit more prepared for what Vanderbilt's going to throw at them. Now, you flip the sides here. The biggest storyline for me is how clean can Alabama keep Ty Simpson, because I don't think people appreciate enough how good this kid is when it's clean around him. When Ty Simpson has been clean in the pocket so far in 2025, 76% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, making legitimate NFL throws. Now, the problem was specifically in that Florida State game, that offensive line got a little bit confused, and Tony White was sending some different pressure packages that I think muddied the picture up and muddied the pocket up for Ty Simpson a little bit. Does Vanderbilt have that ability? That's probably my biggest question about Vanderbilt. They got a couple of guys who can rip off the edge. I think Miles Capers can rip, and number 96. I think he can get it done as a versatile pass rusher up front. If Alabama can keep Ty Simpson clean in this game, you feel like Vanderbilt does not have the guys to deal with all of these Alabama playmakers on the outside. Whether it's Isaiah Horton, whether it's Ryan Williams, whether it's Jeremy Bernard, whether it's Lotier Book. So Bama's got some dudes that I don't think Vanderbilt can run with. I don't think Vanderbilt can cover, but it starts with keeping Ty Simpson clean up front. And I'll say this, the biggest takeaway that I had from that Alabama game, Alabama-Georgia game Saturday night, that offensive line showed up. They went on the road against what we think's a good defense in Georgia. Georgia always going to have a good defense. I don't know if it's as good this year, but it's still good. Yeah, they got better guys, I think it's fair to say, than what Vanderbilt has. And Alabama went and kept Ty Simpson really damn clean in that football game. If Alabama can do that the rest of the way, this offense, specifically this passing attack, is going to be a problem. Getting into the pick here, that this line opened 12.5 points for Alabama, favored it at home. It's been bet down to around 10.5. I like Alabama in this one. Like the question marks surrounding Kalen DeBoer getting this team ready to play in this game, I think it's foolish, right? This game is completely different than what it was 12 months ago. Vanderbilt caught Alabama with their pants down. They clearly did not prepare to play that football game. It was clearly a game that they did not take seriously. And Vanderbilt, they capitalized with a really dynamic offensive scheme. I would be stunned if this Alabama defense does not have a better feel for what Vanderbilt's going to throw at them. And I don't know if Vanderbilt has the guys to really make Ty Simpson's life hard. And because of that, I think Alabama's going to score a lot of points, and I think Vanderbilt's going to get theirs. It would be disrespectful for me to get up here and say Vanderbilt ain't going to score, because that offense is really multidimensional. They can run the football at a high level. They can throw the football at a high level. But I think that you got a better plan for what Vanderbilt's going to do to you. I think Alabama has the guys to take away a little bit of that run game, put Vanderbilt in some down and distances that they have not experienced yet this year, get off the field on 3rd downs. But that's where it starts. You have to create negative plays. You have to get Vanderbilt behind the chains, because if you do that, that's half the battle. That's more than half the battle of dealing with this dynamic Vanderbilt offense. I'll take Alabama to win. I'll take them to cover the number as well. Fire me up for this one. Hey, anytime Diego Pavia is playing football, I'm going to be watching. I appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.